Welcome back. Today we are talking about something very exciting, or at least something that I think is very exciting, and I'm sure you will too, and that is Facebook ads for e-commerce businesses. If you have an online store and you are not running Facebook ads, this video is for you because Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it, is one of the best tools you can have in your marketing arsenal as an online seller. In this video, we are going to dive into basically everything you need to get started running ads on Facebook. My goal is by the end of this to give you everything you need to run an effective campaign on Facebook and make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. Let's jump right into it. Before you get started with your ad campaigns, there are a couple of things you need to have in place first. The first is an e-commerce store. You don't necessarily need this to run ads on Facebook. You know, there are plenty of other types of campaigns that Facebook supports, but this video is specifically about e-commerce. So if you don't have an e-commerce store, this isn't going to be very helpful for you. So step one, you need to have an e-commerce store. Two, you need to have a business page on Facebook, a business manager account. You also need to have an ad account within Business Manager. Now, after you have your business manager and you have your ad account and you have your e-commerce store, it's time to set your campaigns up. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is make sure that you have tracking configured. And to do this, you're gonna need two things. The Metapixel installed on your website, and you're gonna need to be using the Conversions API. The pixel is basically going to take all of those events that are happening on your website, attribute it back to your Facebook campaigns. The Conversions API was introduced basically to combat some challenges with the pixel that have arisen that have come up over the past couple years with privacy changes, Apple dropping off UTM parameters, GDPR, all of those fun things that make it more difficult for advertisers to effectively tie conversion events back to campaigns. So they introduced the Conversion API that basically lets the server of your website, your e-commerce platform, directly talk to Facebook and transmit all of that conversion data back. So between the pixel and the Conversion API, you're going to get most accurate story of what's happening on your website and what's happening with your campaigns. Now that you have your account, you have your tracking set up, it's time to set up a catalog. So this is basically going to be what tells Facebook what products you have. And this is kind of the core crux of any e-commerce campaign. To set this up, you're going to go to Commerce Manager in your Business Manager account. So from Commerce Manager, you're going to want to set up your catalog. And there are two ways to do this. You can create a manual product feed, or the more common way is to set up an integration with your e-commerce provider. Almost every e-commerce platform is on there: Shopify, WooCommerce, Wix, even like some more obscure ones. So usually this is going to be the best option if you have it available to you, just because you're gonna have that direct integration, which is going to mean you can basically get all of your products into your catalog in a couple of clicks. The other great thing about that is that it's going to dynamically update as products go in and out of stock, as you add new products, as you remove them. So you don't need to be updating your website and the catalog separately. The catalog is kind of a must-have when you are running e-commerce campaigns. Now, you can optionally set up your commerce account and your Facebook/Instagram shop. So what this is you've probably seen this if you've bought anything from a Facebook ad, because it is pretty popular. With your traditional shopping ads, what will happen is you click on it and then you go to the merchant site and you can make the purchase there. Where with the shop, it's within the Facebook or Instagram platform. So the user never has to leave, they can click purchase and they can go through that entire purchase process right there on Facebook or Instagram. Conversion rates do tend to be a little bit higher with that, but Facebook also takes like a processing fee, and which is not dissimilar to what you would have with your typical standard payment processing platforms like Stripe, etc. You can also set this up in the same Commerce Manager part of Business Manager, and from here there is a little section called Commerce Accounts, and that's where you would go and set up your shop accounts. You'd configure shipping, contact information, privacy, return policies, all of that. And then basically it goes through an approval process. If it gets approved, voila, you have your shop. Okay, so now that we have our catalog and optionally our shop accounts, now it's time to set up our campaigns. So you're gonna go and to create a new campaign, and you're going to select the objective of sales. Keep in mind that the objective that you select is going to ultimately influence the costs of your campaign. So sales campaigns, e-commerce campaigns working to drive sales are going to be more expensive than like an awareness campaign, for instance. So something to keep in mind, you may want to consider adding an awareness and a traffic campaign in there to sort of build out more of a funnel and to distribute the costs a little bit better. And that's actually what Facebook usually recommends, but that is optional. You're going to want to select sales as the objective. From there, you're going to get asked whether you want to do an Advantage Plus shopping campaign or a standard shopping campaign, or maybe they call it manual shopping campaign. So which one do you choose? The answer is, it depends, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about. So your manual shopping campaigns are going to be sort of like the legacy version of your sales campaigns on Facebook. So it's going to involve a lot of manual setup, manual optimization, and it's going to give you a lot more control. The Advantage Plus is the newer version of sales campaigns, and basically it uses machine learning to make optimizations programmatically and to help speed up the initial setup process as well. So just because machine learning tends to be able to optimize a campaign better than a human, usually you are going to see better results with the Advantage Plus campaign. However, as with any machine learning model, you do need to make sure that you are giving it enough data for it to do its job. So if you have a brand new campaign, a brand new account, no historical data in there, usually I will suggest you start with manual sales campaign just to start getting some data in there. And once you reach a threshold of considerable data density, you can go ahead and switch to the Advantage Plus. There are many different ways you can go about structuring your campaigns, but for e-commerce, usually, especially if you're just getting started and you really don't have that historical data to go off of, usually you're going to want to structure your campaigns by product group. For example, you are online pet store. You're probably gonna wanna have a campaign for dog food. You're gonna wanna have a campaign for cat food. You're gonna wanna have a campaign for dog toys, dog beds, etc. But the important thing to note is that you don't want a specific campaign for one individual product, especially when you're just getting started. So usually you wanna start with a general product group, and as that data comes in, you can identify sort of the best performers and the worst performers, and you can maybe restructure the campaigns so that you have your best sellers in one and then your worst performing in another. Of course, like there are a million ways to do this. That's just one example. But when you get started, usually you want to group your campaigns by product category. From there, now that you have a campaign, you have your product category you're going to be using. And by the way, in the catalog settings, you can create product sets, which I suggest that you do because it will just make the process of setting up these campaigns a lot easier because you'll have those predetermined product sets. Well, you can go ahead and set up product sets based on product names that include, dog food or something like that. Now that you have your campaigns, it's time to set up your ad sets. Really, the ad sets where you determine the audiences that you're going to target. And so there are different audiences within Facebook. These are going to be pretty much consistent across all the campaign types that you run, and e-commerce is no exception to that. So you're going to have your demographic targeting, your interest targeting. You can do custom audiences. So those are, lookalikes. You can do retargeting audiences based on first-party data. And usually when you're first getting started, you're going to want to have various different types of ad sets that are targeting different audiences so you can see which ones perform the best and are most engaged with. So once you have your ad sets, it is time to create your ad creative. And of course, you're going to want to keep your audience in mind when you create these ads to make sure that the ads align with your target audience. But let's go through the different ad types because there are quite a few. The first type of ad that you can use are dynamic product ads, or DPAs for short. Facebook is going to use the information in your catalog to dynamically create ads of your products and serve them to the people who it's most relevant. So using DPAs, for instance, in like your cart abandonment campaigns or your retargeting campaigns can be a great way to just create a more personalized experience with that user and show them the exact product that they were looking at or that they left in their cart. You also can create collection ads. So this is going to be really popular for specifically like clothing retailers because it gives you the ability to group things into a collection. And so a user can sift through all of the items within that collection in one ad. You also have your carousel ads, which we've made videos about in the past, but those are going to be essentially kind of a carousel more or less of different photos or images and text that users can swipe through. So a very popular choice for e-commerce because it gives you the ability to showcase similar products in one ad. Then you have your video ads, which are growing in popularity as we've seen with sort of the emergence of TikTok and Instagram Reels, where you may want to use UGC, for instance, to talk about your product and how great it is, or you want to actually demonstrate it or create some sort of video that's going to be a little bit more engaging than your traditional image ads, which by the way are still available. So if you don't have a video, but you don't want to just use static ads and you want to do something that's a little bit more engaging, you can use Meta's slideshow ads, which basically let you give it static images and it will create some sort of like animated slideshow for you. And as far as which of these ads are the best option, it really is going to boil down to testing and seeing what works best for a given audience, for a given product group or campaign, and seeing what works best for your business. So once you get your ads in there, you are ready to go. You have your campaigns, your ad sets, and your ads. You are gonna, like I said, want to be running some tests, most likely at the ad set and ad level, just to get some data on what's working and what's not, and of course, continually iterate upon the best performers. But at this point, your campaigns are ready to roll, at least from a structural perspective. Now, let's take a step back and talk about how you might want to set up these campaigns from like a strategic perspective. So I touched on a little that you may want to run some awareness, some traffic, and some sales campaigns just to get a nice funnel in place so you're hitting people at all different parts of the funnel. That awareness campaign is going to be a little bit more cost effective than your sales campaigns. But again, it's just something worth testing because at the end of the day, if you're not seeing those awareness campaigns really amplify the conversion rates and performance of those bottom of funnel campaigns, then maybe it's not the best option. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of testing there. But from a sales objective only, there are two things you can do and that I suggest you do in every case where you're running e-commerce ads. The first is create a prospecting campaign. So that's gonna be, again, with that sales objective, you're gonna wanna target audiences that have not already engaged with your brand. So you're gonna wanna use interest and demographic targeting, maybe some lookalike audiences. The prospecting will be people who have not interacted with your brand. So they haven't been to your site, they don't follow you on social media. Then you're gonna wanna have a retargeting campaign. So people who came to your site but didn't take action, you know, obviously they have a higher intent because they took that initial action of at least responding to maybe that initial ad or however they originally found your website. That is a good quality indicator, but you may want to create different retargeting audiences based on how long they were on the site, maybe some actions that they took, and then you can create some campaigns to retarget those users and get them to come back. And at this point, hopefully as well, you're doing some A/B testing on your landing pages or your websites to see if there's something you can do at that actual website level to help convert some of those people who didn't do anything the first time. But those retargeting campaigns should pretty much always be in place just to get them coming back to the site. So you're gonna wanna have your prospecting campaign, your retargeting campaign, and you're also going to want to set up a cart abandonment campaign. So Facebook makes this very easy with the dynamic product targeting, and if you have all of the tracking configured as we talked about previously as a prerequisite, you should have that already set up. You can create those custom audiences of people who added to cart but didn't end up purchasing. Create a specific campaign that targets those users with the dynamic products that they left in their cart. You have your prospecting, kind of getting out in front of new users. You have your one stage below that, which is your general retargeting, where you're retargeting those users who didn't quite add to cart, but they did come to the site. And then you have your cart abandonment to re-engage those users who did come to the site and leave their product in their cart. So by starting with that kind of initial blueprint, you're going to be setting yourself up on a pretty good foot when it comes to just getting started with Facebook ads. That is all we're going to be talking about today. Like I said, this is a huge topic. Obviously, there's so many more rabbit holes we can go into, but my goal is really just to give you enough to get started and hopefully get you set up on the right foot. But of course, if you need some extra help getting those commerce campaigns set up, then definitely reach out to us at driftly.com and request a free marketing plan, which we will link down below. We can take this off your plate and help you get started with some campaigns that are going to drive results for your business. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, definitely give it a thumbs up so we know to make more like this. If there is anything I touched on that you would like us to go into more detail on, then definitely let us know in the comments. But thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you in the next video.